Buddy, today we'll be reacting to a RGT85 video about game devs revealing why the Switch 2 ports suck. So I'm looking forward to this because it's either going to be bullshit excuses from the devs or bad news about the Switch 2. Either way, I'm looking forward to it. So let's see.
So we've got an interesting little discussion video to have today because, well, if you're a Nintendo Switch 2 owner, you would know that not all ports are created equal. We've seen some pretty impressive ports. Games like
except for Nintendo's shitty Nintendo Switch, like caliber games. Yeah. Wow. Hey guys, don't you worry. These dog shit games that look like they could run on the Switch 1 run fine. Don't worry. It runs at 60 frames on your brand new 2025 Switch 2. Aren't you guys happy that they didn't really innovate with the hardware at all? Aren't you happy? I hope so.
Street Fighter 6, one of my favorite ports on the system, WWE 2K25, which I think is right up there with the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 version of the games in terms of the visuals and the performance of the game.
Hold on,
and then we have...
Is he?
I think is right. An interesting little discussion video to have today because, well, if you're a Nintendo Switch 2 owner, you would know that
he actually
not all
a fucking 2D fighting game, the Switch 2 version of a fucking 2D fighting game to the other console versions. Oh, I just want to make sure.
Ports are created equal. We've seen some pretty impressive ports. Games like Street Fighter 6, one of my favorite ports on the system, WWE 2K25, which I think is right up there with the Xbox.
Those are games that don't really utilize much from each hardware. You know, this is the same thing that these losers said, these dumb Nintendo fanboys. And yes, he is a fanboy, by the way. Don't get it mistaken. You know, RGT85 is a fanboy. So, you know, he's the same person that still thinks in his old ass age that like exclusives actually matter and exclusives make the console good. I'm not lying. You know, don't believe me? He literally made a video like that like 1 or 2 years ago. You think his stupid old mentality is gonna change? Nah, no. He's a fanboy. He is a fanboy, bro. And not to mention that he kind of, you know, covers, like, he doesn't really talk a lot of shit about the Switch 2 or anything really. He just kind of downplays a lot of the bad stuff about Nintendo, really. I mean, he'll be outraged about something like, oh my god, Nintendo stopped a charity or something, but he's not really a real, like, he keeps supporting them, bro. You're a fanboy. The Switch 2 is not that impressive, dude. It's really not. There's a Steam Deck. The ROG Xbox Ally X is coming. You know? I'm sorry, the regular Xbox Ally, which is much more powerful than the Switch 2 ever is going to dream to be. You know? At just $50 more than the actual system. Imagine that. Crazy. Well, I could just get the regular Switch 2 version, which is $450. Who the fuck is going to get the Switch 2 at $450 with no games? Are you stupid? You know? I mean, it's kind of like the Wii U. Yes, there was technically a $300 dollar version, which was the basic model of the Wii U, but that shit was such a bad deal that no one even like went to that. You know, no one even thought about that as an option. The 350 then went down later on to 300, right? The $350 Wii U Deluxe model was a much better buy, and everyone knew it. So people just said the Wii U was $350. The Switch is $500. Get over it. Anyways, yeah. So with this piece of crap, you know. Hold on, what was I even saying about this video? Well, whatever. Let's just see his excuses about it, really.
Series X and the PlayStation 5 version of the games in terms of the visuals and the performance of the game. And then we have some pretty questionable ports. Games like Madden 26.
Oh, yeah,
I know it's fine for a lot of people.
Get to the point that like these dumb fanboys said the same thing about the Switch 1 when it first launched. You know that? They did. They said the same exact thing. Oh, but Lego, I'm not even fucking kidding. A literal Wii U game that went to the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch at the time. You know, the Lego City Undercover game. These stupid fanboys literally said, "Oh, but that's also coming to the PS4 and Xbox One." And, you know, So like they were trying to make you think that the Switch One could actually be getting a lot more third-party support than people thought, and no, it did not. Obviously, no, it did not. You know, I mean, I guess technically it is more than what I thought, but what I thought it was gonna get is it's jack shit. So yeah, technically I guess it did, but no, not enough. Still, it did not get enough third-party support. Still, to make it seem like, oh yeah, it's going to compete with the PS4 and Xbox One at the time. So he's trying to make it seem like, oh well, Street Fighter 6 is like great on the Switch too. Congratulations, a literal 2D fighting game is good on that shitty system. Good, congrats, bro. Which, by the way, a shitty 2D fighting game, or not shitty, but an old 2D fighting game, by the way, that's like 2 years old at this point. The hell? 1, 2, whatever. Like, I'm pretty sure it's just 2 years old. I don't know. Like, damn, bro. So it's irrelevant at this point. Yes, man.
That it's fine, and that's great. I'm glad you're enjoying the game,
like,
but I don't think it's fine
if he's
whatsoever.
able to run it on the Switch 2, I could run it on my Steam Deck much better than your Switch 2, most likely. So, check and mate, friend.
And then we have some upcoming games. Games like Elden Ring. Games like Star Wars Outlaws. Now, obviously,
Elden Ring on the Switch 2. Literally, I think people ran the game better on their Steam Deck. So, where's that Switch 2 being more powerful than that Steam Deck talk, guys? Where is it? Where is it? You know? Dumb Nintendo fanboys? Hello? Hello? You know? Where's that talk about the Switch 2 being more powerful than the Steam Deck? Where's that? You know? Because as far as I'm concerned, the games that are on the Switch 2 could run better on Steam Deck still. Right? So, you know, kind of a epic fail on their part.
these games have not released on the Nintendo Switch 2 yet, but they have been shown at several various events that are happening because they are scheduled to be coming out, with Star Wars Outlaws actually coming out later on this week.
Does
and
anyone
the
really
performance
care
tests
about
haven't
Star
been
Wars
exactly
Outlaws at all, let alone it coming to the Switch 2? You know what I mean? It's like, that's a shit game. You know? Like, instead of the Switch 2 getting more cooler games from Ubisoft, you know, like maybe Rayman 3 HD or something like that, maybe a whole Rayman collection, something like that. No. No. You're getting Star Wars Outlaws, literally one of their worst fucking, most buggy, worst, like, DEI-driven piece of shit game to date. Right? With the worst open world, the worst UI, no, I'm sorry, AI, and everything. But, yeah, it's, get excited, I guess. Like, what?
Promising, input lag, questionable graphics, so on and so forth. And many people are wondering, why does there seem to be such a large divide between certain ports running well and running optimized and certain ports not running very well on the Switch 2? Well, a prominent game developer and CEO of Epic Games, Tim Sweeney, actually had to say something very interesting about this. And I feel like this is kind of an onion statement that you could peel back many layers on. There is the Switch 2 aspect of it.
And then that the Switch 2 is an underpowered piece of shit. That's overpriced. That's really all. There's no layers to that. We all know what Nintendo did with the Switch 2, bruh. They barely increased the power. And like they made that shitty ass DLSS garbage, like trying to make up for the fact that it's a piece of shit, and then charge you $500 as if it wasn't a piece of shit. And well, it is. So
the general gaming aspect of it as well. So I kind of want to go over what was said by Tim Sweeney and then give some thoughts on it. So obviously there are problems with certain engines on the Nintendo Switch 2 thus far. I think Frostbite definitely has some kinks that need to be worked out. And of course, I mean, Unreal Engine 5. Borderlands 4 is an Unreal Engine 5 game that is coming to the Switch 2, and allegedly it's not running all that great. It targets 30 frames per second, but it often goes well below that when there's multiple enemies on the screen.
That reminds me of like Borderlands 2 on the PS Vita, right? But at least the Vita had a cool feature where you could like play it on your PS3, which has much better, which is a much better way of playing it, right? And then, like, when you go out or whatever, you could put it on back on your Vita if you don't mind the frame drops here and there. That's the hilarious part. It's like, that actually reminds me of how bad Borderlands 2 on the Vita was. But you know what? Again, at least the Vita was actually a proper handheld, unlike the Switch 2. The Switch 2 is stupidly big for what it's supposed to be. And it's underpowered. And it's overpriced. Like, what's the point of this thing, man? I don't get it.
Well, of course, Epic Games is the company behind the Unreal Engine 5, and CEO and former game developer Tim Sweeney said that the problem isn't necessarily with the engine or any sort of engine, it's more so that it lies with the developers and taking time to optimize things. Now, Tim Sweeney did say that Fortnite runs really well on the Nintendo
They shouldn't fucking have to. Why should developers have to take a lot of time to optimize for that system when really they should have just made it that like much more powerful? You're asking me to buy a handheld in 2025, okay, for it's $500. You better give me $500 worth of performance. I don't give a shit if this stupid thing is a tablet or not. You give me that price, or I'm sorry, that price to, what is it called? Like price to performance ratio? You give that to me, motherfucker. It's that simple. And like, come to think of it, it should be as powerful as the PS5. It really should. Why? Because it's $500, and the PS5 should be at $300 by now, but of course Sony raised the price. That doesn't mean it's worth that much. Like, again, the PS5 should be at $300 fucking dollars, if not less, right now, because of how dated the technology is. So, realistically speaking, yeah, maybe for $500, the fucking Switch 2 should be as powerful as a PS5. I mean, you know, I thought the point of consoles, right? I thought the point of consoles was to utilize, like, the customization of consoles. Obviously, that hasn't been done for a long time. Like, that only, the last time that's been done is the fucking, the 7th generation with the PS3 and the 360 and the Wii, obviously. Like, everything was a lot more custom back then, and that's why games ran fucking better. Crazy. Well, not only that, but also better developers. Way fucking better developers. So.
Switch 2. And I mean, it does, from what I've seen. I haven't played it on the Switch 2 because, I mean, really, if you think about it, Fortnite to an extent kind of ruined gaming. But that's a topic for another day. That one day I'll take out my...
Companies being lazy with their shitty franchises, having garbage developers like Nintendo. Nintendo is actually ruining gaming, motherfucker. Fortnite is fine. Fortnite it should have been just an option, actually. It's dumb motherfuckers trying to chase Fortnite and what it is, and its like success without being as accessible as Fortnite. They want to take their cake and eat it too, and sell you a dog shit game. No, it is not Fortnite's fault that the gaming industry is shit. It is the gaming industry's fault that it is shit. It is your fault that it is shit. I mean, is this motherfucker really talking about like Fortnite being the problem when you're supporting dog shit hardware and dog shit games from Nintendo? Really? Really, dude? What a joke, man. These fanboys are a joke. No, actually,
really go down.
Completely honest, Fortnite is actually a good modern game. Think about it. It runs on every platform. You have cross progression, cross play, you know, and has content out the ass, you know. And just to, you know, give everyone what they want, they have licenses everywhere. Which for a game like Fortnite, it's fine, you know. If you don't want that license, you don't have to interact with it, you know. It's really that simple. So, get over it, you know. Like, oh my god, Fortnite has everything, blah, blah, blah. It's like, so? That's what makes it more fun. I mean, it's not their fault that everyone is trying to be it so badly. Meanwhile, not being as accessible or modern as Fortnite. It's not Fortnite's fault. It's really not. I'm not even a fan of Fortnite. But you know what? I can acknowledge that it is actually a good modern game for what it is. I can see why people play it.
Rabbit hole of how, you know, the post-Fortnite apocalypse that we've seen in gaming has been extremely detrimental with all these companies trying to chase these certain highs.
How Nintendo raising their prices to $80 ruined gaming? Dumb fuck. You're not going to say that, though, right?
Fortnite hits as a free-to-play game, thus making people not want to buy.
Like Nintendo raising their prices for everything, by the way, making Microsoft raise their prices, and now Sony. So congratulations. Your dog shit Nintendo has more of an impact on people's hardware and software being shit. So congratulations.
Their games, thus limiting the scope of the video game marketplace. There's so many games that get released on Steam every single day, yet the vast majority of people only play about 60 plus games at one given time.
What's
like I said, that's
the
for another
problem
video.
with that? People have a huge back catalog, and Steam users still buy their games. What are you talking about? What is a schizo mofo talking about here? He has a problem with people on Steam not playing more games. Motherfucker, we have more games than your shitty consoles, all your consoles combined. What do you expect? Yeah, we buy games and then we put them in the back burner until we're ready to play them. The hell? Duh. Because we actually have a lot of variety, unlike your dog shit consoles. Oh my god. Yeah, you motherfuckers are playing all the games, quote unquote, because you guys have almost none. You know? Like 100% of 0 is still 0. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, they have some, obviously, but what I'm trying to say is that they don't have anywhere near the same variety as PC. PC has a lot of free-to-play games. PC has a lot of games as a service games. PC has, like, a lot of single-player games that people buy and play. Like, everything fits on PC. Your shitty consoles, only a certain, certain game or a certain amount of games could work on those pieces of shit. PC has everything because everything could work on PC. So, yes, we have a lot more of a variety and we have a lot more games, so we don't play a certain percentage of them. Duh.
We're not going to dive into that. But basically, Tim goes on to say the following. The primary reason is the development process. Many developers begin by developing games for high-end hardware, then optimize and test on low-spec devices in the final stages. Ideally, optimization should be implemented early.
Oh, but you're still going to buy it, though.
Optimization is by no means...
You're still going to buy it, so shut the fuck up. You could complain to your shitty little audience here, but you're still going to buy it. So you're going to support this crap. Oh, but Fortnite is ruining gaming. Fortnite is ruining gaming, yet your dumbass is the one buying these crappy-ass game key cards. You're the one buying these games at a outlandish price as well. You're the one buying hardware because it has a certain game attached to it. Like, you're a loser, bro. You're a loser. You're the one supporting the toxic shit in gaming. What are you talking about? And then also, you're supporting Nintendo. The worst company. The worst company in modern gaming. Yeah, fight me on that shit. They're worse than EA. They're worse than Activision. They're even worse than fucking Ubisoft. You know? At least when Ubisoft, when they do really stupid shit, they get punished for it. Nintendo? It's a 50-50. You know? No, not even 50-50. 80% mostly being on their favor, and then maybe 20% they might get punished. Like, fuck off. Eat shit, guys. Really. Fortnite is the problem, am I right? But, you know, me buying a bunch of shitty game cards and supporting Nintendo and their toxic gaming practices and everyone else's toxic gaming practices, that's not the problem with gaming. Shut the fuck up.
It's an easy task. It is a very difficult one. Ideally, optimization should be implemented early in development before full-scale content building begins.
Game,
to address these issues,
it looks like an ugly-ass PS2 game. Legit, I'm not even fucking lying here. I'm not trying to meme here. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas looked better than this garbage. And they were making that for the PS2. The PS2 was much more harder to develop for than the fucking Switch 2 is. Come on, man.
Preparing two main approaches. Then Sweeney said that there's an automated optimization in future Unreal Engine 5 update.
Oh, your car comes to you, bro. Wow, fucking next gen, guys. Look at this dog shit game, man. Like, fucking hell.
That will help, and they're also going to have developer training courses that can help with getting this engine optimized for the Nintendo Switch 2, and by extension, other systems. So I don't necessarily think what is being said here is wrong, especially when you look at the Switch 2 portion of the fact of the matter, because we know that the dev kit situation hasn't been exactly optimal thus far. It definitely seems like
consoles and games, to be honest, but Nintendo should have prepared for that and actually made their console good. You know, they actually should have made their console powerful like, you know, everyone else did. I mean, here's the fucking hilarious part, though. Nintendo wants to act like everyone else in terms of their shitty practices, right? Making their games full price, like full price, right? I mean, the charm of the Wii era was that they were the cheapest fucking console. And they still provided amazing experiences that you could get on that console for one reason or another. That doesn't have to be exclusive. No, the Wii offered something that Nintendo utilized and took advantage of. It was the cheap console, you know? But they had games with awesome content in it that made up for that. you know. And it was $10 less than the competition. And their games would sometimes have more content than the competition. Come on, bro. Come on.
Some companies have had dev kits longer than other companies, but then it also seems like some companies just don't really care. You know, Bandai Namco, I know they're working with Sakurai on Kirby Air Riders, but they're also doing Dragon Ball Sparking Zero 2, which is 810 30 frames per second on the Switch 2 and 720p 30 frames per second on the Switch 1.
It's clear that they do buy it, right? You're still gonna buy that shitty ass Switch 2 version. You're an idiot, bro. You're the reason why it keeps happening. You're the reason. You and the rest of the dumb fanboys like you. You know? Like, you guys are even worse than the PlayStation fanboys, because at least the PlayStation fanboys don't buy their games. You buy shitty-ass versions because it's on your garbage fucking hardware. Here's my question, though. If you were interested in these games, why the fuck did you not just buy it on a better piece of hardware? You know? You have nothing unique about your piece of shit hardware. The Switch 2? Oh, it's portable. So is the Steam Deck. And it runs games much better, and it has more variety of games. Hell, it even has your games if you utilize that shit enough. Or good enough, sorry. So what are you buying the Switch 2 for? What are you getting shit on the Switch 2 for? Man, I cannot wait to see how bad like Sparking Zero runs on the Switch 2. I cannot fucking wait, bro. That shit will be funny as hell. It really will. Man.
Not care about the Switch 2 version of the game, because obviously you could get better performance out of the system than that. If we didn't have subject test matters such as Street Fighter 6, such as WWE 2K25,
that
then
do
yeah,
not
I could
take
say
as much strain on a hardware. One is a 2D fighting game. One is a like enclosed 3D arena game. You know what I mean? Like it's literally, I think even fucking Power Stone has more going on than fucking WWE. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
here and say, well, you know, there could be a performance issue with just the system itself. But I think those games existing on the platform clearly show that that's not necessarily the case. Especially,
what are you talking about? A 2D fighting game means that something like what the hell's the name of it? Like so something like Cyberpunk should work amazingly on the Switch 2. I'm not saying that it's not poor optimization, because it is. It really is. But Nintendo should have been aware of that, you know? I already said this in this video already. Nintendo should have been aware of that, and they should have prepared for that. Not relied on some dog shit DLSS shit, which I said was not going to do anything. It was not going to help. In fact, it was going to hinder the Switch 2. And I was absolutely right. I was completely right. All you stupid fanboys saying like, yeah, we're going to get 60 frames, 120 frames. Well, look how fucking wrong you were, huh? All these dumb Nintendo fanboys like pushing that stupid feature that I told you was not going to do shit. And of course it wasn't. Who the fuck thought that DLSS was going to do anything for a dog shit piece of hardware like the Switch 2 when the PS5 Pro can't even do it right? And even in many cases, the PC can't even do it right. So what the fuck made you think that an underpowered piece of shit like like the Switch 2 would be able to handle it properly? My God. It's like I'm living with... It's like I'm sharing the world with fucking idiots. I really am. Crazy.
When the Xbox Series S version of Street Fighter 6 looks worse than the Switch 2 version does when you're in the one-on-one fighting mode game, which is the main meat and potatoes of the game. WWE 2K25, it's 60 frames per second. It feels so good, and it runs so good. So
perform on the Switch 1. Does anyone remember that? I think it was WWE 2K19, right? Was it? That ran like utter shit on the Switch, was glitchy as hell. Everything about it was just ugly and like the worst way to play the fucking game in any way, shape, or form was a Switch 1 version. Yeah. So I think it is the hardware, buddy. And the people. It's both. It's both the developers. But again, should have prepared for that, Nintendo. You fucking knew that. So I knew that. Everyone knew that. You know, so you should have done your fucking job.
Obviously, optimization is I mean, it's a huge important thing about this. And as time goes on, optimization will get better. Because companies that are working on...
Maybe for PC, yeah, because PC is worth it. But for consoles, yeah, fucking right. We'll see about that, buddy.
2 versions of games will have longer times. You got to remember, a lot of these games, they're trying to meet the holiday deadline.
So did other games.
Quick sales, especially a game like...
You know? So did fucking other games. And are we really gonna act like, like developers don't have access to better tools now? Are we really gonna fucking act like that? Really? Come on, bro. Shut up. Oh, but they had to meet a deadline. Fucking literally everything met a deadline, especially in the 360 and PS3 days, you fucking moron. And look at that. Oh, look at that. They actually managed to make their game, like available, running amazingly, doing all sorts of shit like that. Wow, it's like they were fucking performing miracles back in the 7th generation. Crazy.
Star Wars Outlaws. I expect Star Wars Outlaws to be an absolute mess. It was available to play
And
at
you're still gonna buy
PAX
it.
West behind closed doors, but you couldn't take any footage, and everything was kind of, at least from the GVG video, things were in very small contained areas, and the performance was not great. I know some Twitter accounts are saying, oh, it looks really good, and I'm just kind of like...
Him. I mean, not me.
It probably
I didn't even have a Switch 2, and I'm fucking happy about that.
But okay, if it looks good to you, that's fine. That's my new mantra. I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth. If you think something is great, think that it's great. You're not going to convince me otherwise.
Believe that,
so I do think
like exclusives are a dated concept and doesn't help a console at all, then you could go fuck yourself.
that if Star Wars Outlaws had more time, Madden 26 had more time, these games would look and perform better on the hardware because there is that sort of adjustment curve. But like I said, this isn't necessarily just about the Nintendo Switch 2, because who is the company that is saying this? It's Epic Games CEO's Tim Sweeney with Unreal Engine 5. And I'm sorry, but when there is a common denominator for many current generation games, current gen, of course, being the PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch 2, and a lot of these games that have issues in terms of performance, sizable issues, all seem to be running Unreal Engine 5. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
Yeah,
and I almost feel like you're kind of putting the blame
into consideration that that duck is also Nintendo's shitty hardware. So what looks like shitty hardware is shitty hardware is shitty hardware. So we could use that against you too, bruh. Do not blame only the developers on that shit, because Nintendo is to blame as well. They are. I didn't even think that the Switch 2 is that much more powerful than the PS4, right? I didn't even know. There are games running better on the PS4. So I don't even know.
On these people for not understanding the engine, but you're also not doing a great job of helping these people understand the engine. Like Metal Gear Solid Delta. Metal Gear Solid Delta should have been at a locked 60 frames per second, and there should have been a graphics mode that looked even better, that maybe had a variable fluctuating frame rate. Unreal Engine 5 is what powers Metal Gear Solid Delta, and Metal Gear Solid Delta isn't a very optimized game.
Excuses about, like, bro, this is literally a fucking PS2 game that you guys glowed up. That's it. How the fuck is this running bad? If this doesn't tell you how shitty developers are nowadays and how they deserve to be fucking fired, I don't know what does. I don't know what will. They deserve to be fucking replaced with AI by this point. God, these people suck. You can't even up-res a PS2 game? Are you serious? You can't even make a PS2 game with updated assets without making it run like shit? Seriously? God.
What platform you play it on? PC, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro, Xbox Series. I played and I beat the game already because I know exactly what I'm doing.
So you bought it. You're contributing to the downfall of gaming, but you're bitching about it. How does that work, bro? I'm not gonna buy this piece of shit game. Hell no. Maybe not unless it goes to the bargain bin. If it has online, that is, because yeah, you go fuck itself if it doesn't.
Took me 6 hours and 12 minutes, and that was with me watching some of the cutscenes. I kind of skipped some of the cutscenes as the game went on because I realized it was just a one-to-one replication of the exact same cutscenes, just with the prettier graphics. And at first it was cool, but I was kind of like, I already know what these people are going to do and what these people are going to say. But there are performance issues with that game, especially some of the end game stuff where things get really crazy. Like there are
Metal Gear Solid 3, except for the demo on the 3DS. So yeah, this might be a pleasant surprise or not. I don't know. Metal Gear Solid 4 slaps way harder than this game, though. Seriously, bro. Like, especially the online. Bro, if you weren't there for Metal Gear Solid 4's online, I'm sorry. I actually feel bad for you. I do. That shit was actually amazing. I sucked at it, of course. But that's because it was actually a game of skill. And I was like, what, 13, I think? So, yeah, I wasn't exactly super good. Not to mention that I played mostly Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games and shit like that. Like, I mostly played on portables, and played Pokemon and shit. So, yeah, I never really played games like that. But man, when I watched my brother play it, bruh, he was decent at the game. He wasn't the best, but he was pretty decent. So when I watched him play the game, I'm like, bro, this looks so fucking fun. This looks so fun. But I did, when I was like my first time playing, I did get a really lucky headshot on Snake. When we were hunting him down, it was hella funny. And not to mention that it was also the winning shot too. It was also the winning shot. so it was actually really fucking funny.
Performance issues. And it's like, well, how is this game having so many problems? How is this game having so many issues? If you're in your own words, you say that games are developed for high-end hardware and then optimized and tested on low-spec hardware. What's higher hardware than the PlayStation 5? Or even what's higher hardware than the most beefy PC that exists on the marketplace? I feel like this is not just an Unreal Engine 5 problem, even though that does play a role in it. I feel like this is a video game problem in and of itself, where we have this mentality of we can fix it later, we can patch it later. And for smaller games, for smaller studios, I have a little bit more sympathy. I have a little bit more compassion. I have a little bit more empathy. But for these big AAA studios, I really don't. When you see a game like Metal Gear Solid Delta come out and there's a laundry list of bugs and things that, Konami comes out and says, oh, we got to fix these things. Lost Soul Aside just released. Another laundry list of bugs, issues, and things that need to be ironed out. It's like, why are day one adopters the beta testers now? Do you not have beta testers to test out these games anymore? Have the games just gotten so big that you don't even...
Why should they? Why should they have beta testers when they have you idiots buying them? Like buying the game before it's done for full price. Why the fuck should they? I swear, this is why you console dudes, when consoles die because of your stupid habits, you better not fucking come to PC. I swear to God, I will put a cross and put some holy water on that shit to keep you stupid ass fucking gremlins away. You console gremlins away.
Bother doing it. You just hope for the best and put it out there. That's not necessarily a Nintendo Switch 2 specific issue. That is a video game company issue in a video game industry.
Like, are we really gonna act like the dumbass Switch 2 isn't to blame more for this, right? Like, I mean, hell, look at Nintendo's games on the fucking Switch 1. Forget the Switch 2 right now. Look how poorly Pokemon fucking still looks like, right? Look how bad Pokemon Legends ZA looks like, even on the Switch 2. So it's like, no, they've been doing this shit since the Switch 1, and now you guys are noticing? Like, what? It's kind of crazy.
Issue as a whole. So I don't know. I don't know how impactful these words should really be and how, important these words should really be considered.
Idiots should stop buying games at fucking launch. That's what I think. Stop buying games at launch. Why do you do that? You pay more for the more buggy, shittier version of the game. There is no point to buying a game at launch. Not to mention that because this game is, like specifically, Metal Gear Solid 3, you already fucking played on the PS2. Why are you buying it again? Well, at least at launch. Why are you buying it again? Why? Are you stupid? Jesus Christ, man.
Because of who is saying it and what Epic Games is about with Unreal Engine 5. It's like, you kind of...
If you're just buying this game and you just shut the fuck up and want to just play, that's all right, man. Like, I really don't want to be like, hey, how dare you buy this? But this pisses me off because this is these retarded game reviewers or whatever the hell who claims to be the savior of gaming or whatever gay shit. So that's why it pisses me off when they say this, If you want to buy the game and play it, go ahead, bro. Like, who am I to stop you? But I just don't want to hear these motherfuckers say that, Like, what's bad for the gaming industry? You're bad for the gaming industry. Spoiler alert.
Lose some of your clout and your meaning and your words when your company and your engine
don't take you Nintendo frauds too seriously, right? Especially after the dumb shit you guys have been saying about the Switch 2, hyping it up like it was the next coming of Christ. Hell, even saying that it was more powerful than the Steam Deck was stupid enough. But then, like, even before that, when they heard the rumors about the Switch 2 specs, they fucking really thought, you know what? To be fair, I did too. I really thought that was going to be as powerful as the Series S. I did. I did. When I saw that rumor, I do remember I made a video about it. I was saying, like, wow, this actually could be as powerful as the Series S, at least, blah, blah, blah. And then it wasn't. So trust me when I say I'm much more disappointed in Nintendo than these idiots are, Really.
Seem to be very well optimized for anything. Whether it's a high-end PC or a Nintendo Switch 2, it doesn't seem to matter. There's going to be problems across the board on it. But yeah, I mean, those are just my thoughts on it. I think
you guys were the ones that contributed to it, so I already said that, right? And thank God this video is done. So, yeah, please ensure, guys, to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm really trying to hit that 500 subscriber mark. So if you guys could please help out with that, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm thinking about, like, streaming, streaming and reacting to videos like these instead. Well, maybe not instead, but definitely more often, right? Yeah, I definitely want to do that. I want to get that set up with you guys. So please let me know. Like, what videos do you guys want me to react to? What videos, would you like to see on the stream when I do stream? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. With that being said, see you guys later. Have a good one.